In a way, this album for me is kind of talking about this diaspora experience. It took so long, and I was desperate. I didn't want to feel that I was enslaved. I have this passion, but I don't want to feel that I'm completely drained by it. I don't want to just make an album to just make an album. It's not interesting for me. For you to be able to enjoy music, you need to have an opening, like an oxygen, a space inside of you. You were kind of left with so much anger. And what do you do with this anger? I mean, it's not easy to digest or to just know how to deal with these, very strong emotions. Then you had the Beirut Port explosion, and that really was the ultimate thing, because after that I said, okay, it's the 100th time kind of deja vu experience where you're witnessing from afar the collapse, the bombing, I don't know what, of your country, of the people you love, etc. I had to just put everything aside, and I have to take care of myself.
Welcome to another episode of the NYU Abu Dhabi Art Center podcast. My name is Mikey Muhanna. Today on this series, we have really an icon of music for people of my generation from the Arab world. Yasmine Hamdan is performing at the Tamaas Festival at NYU Abu Dhabi on January 29th, and it's an honor to have her on the series. Yasmine, welcome.
Hi, كيفك?
Alhamdulillah. I think a place I want to start, I guess maybe let's start with how you feel about music these days. Like you are coming out with new music, you're performing, you took a sabbatical or sort of a hiatus from performing for a while. So I'm curious, how's it feel?
I'm discovering. No, it feels great, actually. It feels great to be back, because the reason why I stopped for a while was because I needed to think of, to reconnect to why I want to do music and what I had to say. I didn't want to, I wanted to come out of necessity and not just like a career plan or a strategy or anything as such. So I feel really happy about that, about the fact that I had the privilege and I had the possibility actually to stop and to take my time and not to stress about result or about being productive, and just only focus on the essence of why I'm doing what I'm doing. So in that sense, I'm super happy. But rediscovering the reality of the world, the music world today is also is interesting. It's not always very satisfying, with the Spotifyification of music, and how much more workload artists are asked to be engaged with. So it's there are pluses and minuses. Overall, I'm happy to be back on stage with my band. I'm so happy to have worked to have been able to transform some of the experiences I had, to be able to also re-articulate a vision that it just feels so good. And I felt when I finished this record, I felt so lucky and so satisfied. So yeah, overall, it's positive.
Yeah. It's interesting hearing you say this, like, because on one side, I feel like 20 years ago, your job description was write music, record music, perform music, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now there's like the social media side of it, and the which maybe you opt out of, but so many musicians, it's like a huge part of their entire sort
Look,
of portfolio
it's
of work.
fun to be able to communicate with people. It's really fun to be able to articulate some ideas. It's really interesting to be able to also politicize or to kind of put words on things, and I think this is all positive. The problem today is that you're asked to produce images. You're asked to produce what they call, I'm not sure. I forgot the name. Like not material. Yeah, some, you're asked to do your own, to be your own agent, promoter, to be promoting yourself, promoting your work, and this is all invisible because this is work, and this work is not being paid, is not remunerated. So this is problematic. It's problematic because you are asked to do more, more and more and more and more, and the income is doesn't translate. But at the same time, you can choose not to. You can choose not to, and you can also choose to have, to transform this and to have a good time and to have fun with it. So it really depends what are your boundaries, how you get organized around this, and what are your limits, and where is your pleasure? Because after all, it all it all comes to pleasure. If you're taking pleasure from it, then it's good. It's an important thing to do. The only thing is, it's an addict. I mean, social media is we all know it. I mean, it's made as such, made custom made to make you feel dependent, and somehow it takes some of your energy. It can also take some of your some of it can just put some disorder or noise in your brain, and inside, it just can come and just like your connection to music and to the essence of why you're doing what you're doing. So you need to be very careful also, and yeah, you have to just keep a distance.
Yeah. This might be a little bit of a personal question, but when you decided to take a step back, was there a decision? Was it like one day you decided, and no, I need a multi-year step back, or was it like no, I'm just going to take a couple weeks off, get back in the game, or was it like, I'm done? I'm not taking a step back and coming back. I'm done. Khalas, I'm done.
Yeah. It was just, for now, I need a break, and I will see, and I had to. It was important for me to step back, take some time for myself, reconnect to family, to friends, reconnect also to myself, to do things that I never had the time to do, and to prioritize. How do you say it?
Prioritize. Yeah.
Prioritize, differently, to put other priorities, different priorities. And also, I didn't want to feel that I was enslaved in a way. Like I have this passion, but I don't want to feel that I'm completely drained by it. I needed to kind of put some boundaries. It was a personal thing. So no, it was. I'm gonna take a 2-week break. It was like, okay, after the tour, it ended in 2018, end of 2018. I said, okay, I'm gonna take 1 year off, and I will see, if ideas come. I don't want to just make an album to just make an album. It's not interesting for me, and then the COVID happened, the lockdown.
ثورة بلبنان.
Saura Brebnik, the aborted Saura, and the theft of the holdup, the theft of everybody's money, family, friends, etc. That was really hard to swallow. So you were kind of left with so much anger in a way. And what do you do with this anger? I mean, it's not easy to just know to digest or to just know how to deal with these, very strong emotions. Then you had the Beirut Port explosion, and that really was the ultimate thing, because after that I said, okay, I have to take care of myself. I'm not, because it's again, it's for, I don't know, it's the 100th time kind of deja vu experience where you're witnessing from afar the collapse, the bombing, the I don't know what of your country, of the people you love, etc. So I had to just put everything aside and have a good time. We went to Sicily at that moment, end of 2020. That was really magical because I was able to connect to nature and to the sea and to bird migration. I don't know. It was really magical, and somehow I started, also reevaluating what I needed. And back then, in 2021, I started working, working again on some demos. I had a lot of insecurities because I was not sure what to do, where to go. I have to say also that I listened to very, very old Arabic music and some other music, of course. But I'm really in my bubble, so I don't listen to anything. I was kind of really in my bubble, and I realized it when I finished this record and when I released it. I realized that it feels like I was completely, in my head, in my little world. I was not at all aware of what was happening. I kind of switched off from social media. For years I didn't have social media. I wasn't posting. Of course, I was watching, some horrible images on social media, when you're living afar and you want to know what's happening back home. Unfortunately, it's a source of information that is kind of traumatic. I don't recommend it. It's better to read newspapers, good ones, or good articles, solid journalism. But yeah, it's somehow stronger. You want to see, you want to watch, and you want to. It becomes like an addiction. So yeah. Then I started working, and sadly, since 2020, we've had the same experience, the deja vu experience of watching horrors, the genocide in Gaza, the war on Lebanon, and all of this. You watch it again and again and again on your screen. But yeah, it's also experiences that I'm lucky to be able to transform and to reflect on. I'm far. I have a beautiful life. I live in Paris. I'm kind of very privileged.
Yeah. Do you feel, for a lot of people, their relationship to Beirut and to Lebanon and to the Arab world changed in those 7 years? 6 years, and kind of like changed their practice, changed their work. Not only artists, a lot of people sort of said like, "Khalas, I can't do this anymore. I can't be tethered in a way where you're super, super invested." And for somebody like you, who represents, for a lot of people, like, the best we have to offer in this
Thank
thing.
you.
Yeah, I don't know if you feel that way, but for a lot of people, it's like, this is a image of optimism. There's a source for optimism of what we can do. do you ever feel like there's a burden that you have to weigh? Because like in that time, you're like trying to maybe distance yourself and take space, but people like me keep on trying to pull you back in.
No, I don't know if I feel it that way. I don't know. It's a complex thing. I think it's a personal relationship that you have to yourself. I have high expectations, and then I'm really, I tend to be sometimes extremely obsessive, and I tend to be sometimes extremely, like when I obsess, and it's painful. But 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 this is why also I'm into details, and I'm into taking, like, my priority is not to be efficient, is to be, to take my time and to be nuanced. So that's why I also like to collaborate with people who are really efficient, and they don't push. Like
Yeah.
Mahkala, for example. He is the most efficient person. I mean, producer. I mean, many of the producers are like this, actually. They have a schedule. They just have the experience, etc. But then I take the material and I come back home and I just start to interrogate what I'm having, and I listen to it, then I stop it, then I go back to it, then I call someone and I said, can you please record this? And then I come back and then I twist and then I cut, I do the whole haircut, and then I go back to the studio and I rework it with Mark, etc. And that was really good, because it's kind of, we're living in really practically not only two time zones, but two, like, kind of energies.
Mind zones.
Yeah, mind zones. That's something that is, I would say, a blessing, but sometimes also difficult, because I have a hard time sometimes with myself. Because so many times I know that I'm obsessing on something that is not important, but it's a process, and then you have to respect this process, and you have to also respect and trust yourself. So this is where I think this is the most difficult thing, is to always keep a steady or kind of comfortable relationship with yourself when you are producing, and or producing work, like when you are creating, and to accept that you have lows, up and down, and it's labor. It's not easy. At the end of the process, it took so long, and I was desperate, and I started feeling, when بتطلع روحك طلعت روحي, and I was like, خلاص, I want to finish. And I remember that at the end of the process, right at the end, I took the music and I asked Elia, my partner, Elia Suleiman, and he hadn't listened to anything for like 2 years and a half. And then I'm like, okay, listen to it, but try not to be too harsh with me. And it was very interesting, because every single indication or like feedback he gave me was things that I felt, but I didn't have the energy anymore to push, because I was like, khalas. And then it gave me energy to just do it, to just go back and do what I had to do. So sometimes you need to refill, you need people around you, you need people you trust. Elia is somebody who's very important in the process, because he's extremely intuitive, and of course we share a lot, and we're really aligned, and so it's very important for me. His feedback is really always like, wow, very interesting, and I'm really it's kind of like, sometimes when you're lost, you need these kind of people who are who you trust, to put you sometimes, give you a push or put you in the right right direction. So yeah, it's a complicated process. And always also I never know what I'm doing. Always, never. I mean, I always like look for what I want, but I'm always lost. And that is also sometimes boring.
Do you have like a like an avatar of the type of critic or the type of like audience that you're kind of most afraid of? Like, Hala, you're talking to Eli, right? And you're saying, like, please be soft on me, be nice. Do you have an image of like, these are the people who I really want for them for this to mean something to them, or that you're worried about them?
Yeah, it's not that you're worried. First of all, I'm really careful. I don't send my music before I feel comfortable doing it, because I think it's a very fragile thing. And you don't want to spoil the idea, or you don't want to too early. So it needs to mature before you communicate it, or you share it with someone. And I have few people that I really trust. Yes. My sister Alia also gave me really interesting feedback. Who else? I mean, few people that give you really different feedback, and sometimes it can be more general. Like, for example, my sister said, "Oh, it's great, but I feel that there's I mean, your voice is kind of buried in too many effects." And it was true. Back then, I would go and work on the mix with the sound engineer, and because he's using all these really nice digital analog effects, etc. So sometimes he maybe sometimes would tend to want to put more, and I would always, I had to push, to just orient things. And yeah, sometimes people alert you, so yeah. I would say some other people, but in general, I don't share the music with too many people. Never.
Yeah. Do you feel like the music that you're producing on this last album is like the same sort of era as the music that you were producing early on in the 90s, like if in sort of that Soap Kills moment? Does it feel like this is the same catalog?
Vibe?
Or you're like, yeah, vibe. Like sometimes I feel like some artists, when you speak to them, they're like, la 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 la, this is old me, don't talk to me about this, I'm in a new thing, right? And some people are like, no, this is one idea that I'm really interrogating, this is one emotion that I keep on twisting and turning upside down to find different vantage points, this is a muse that I'm still working through. Which one feels
I don't know, really. I don't know. I think that I was someone, I mean, we change, you change, I change, the audience, the world is changing. But I do think that I'm kind of, I think I try to be consistent. I try to be, at least with the drive I have, I try to be consistent. I try to also, I mean, after all, it all comes to pleasure. When you're in a studio and you're having, and like this is something that I cannot describe, but when you're having this like kind of magical time communication with musicians, they don't even understand what I'm talking about, which makes it really interesting because it's abstract to them, and so they get a sense. It's something very organic. It's very it's very abstract, I would say, and this has been always a drive for me. When I'm recording my voice, I tend to I love recording my voice, at home, because I don't do just one track normally. I just record and then look for the emotion and then listen, and then I'm like, this needs something, and I try and I try and try. So I look for the intention. And so this is something that I was also doing with Soap Kills. For example, I remember the song Enta Fin. I think I recorded before finding this like شاغل بالي, attitude. Yeah, because I listened to it not long time ago. It was funny back then. I was like really into Marlene Dietrich. I was like Marlene Dietrich. أنا شاغل بالي حالي أنت. And I remember before finding this attitude, this intention or attitude, it took me like, I don't know. And so you're the only person who can do it because if you have a sound engineer and you're recording hours of the same word or the same phrase, he'd kill himself or kill. So yeah, I like to record myself. I like to twist like I record musicians, and then I like to play with the material. I kind of twist it and loop it and cut it and destroy it, and then regret, and then go back and So there's something very playful in this. It's
Do you think people, or let me ask it this way, what do you think people most misunderstand about you? I mean, people watch you, there's, maybe 1,000 people watching you on stage, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people listen to the music, watch YouTube videos. What do you think people don't usually pick up on? Not in a bad way, but they don't really pick up on.
Honestly, I don't know, because this is not there's not. It's not something that I can sense or feel. Sometimes when I had the feeling before then, because sometimes out of insecurities or fragility, you're vulnerable when you're on stage. Sometimes when you're on stage and you're a little bit kind of shy, people can think that this is like a form of snobism or something. But for me, I don't know. I think mostly I would say that people pick on things that are very abstract or on emotions. And even though they don't understand Arabic, some of the audience doesn't understand Arabic. They tend to, and this is really amazing. They feel something. They appreciate, and I find this really magical with music. I have the same thing with a lot of singers and artists. For example, there's this Pakistani singer called Abida Parveen. One time I was in India, and I went. Every time I go to a place, I try to buy. I used to before Spotify. Now she's on Spotify, but this record, you couldn't find it anywhere. And I remember I bought it from a supermarket in India, and it's a ghazal album, and it's unbelievable. Her voice is she was her teachers, etc. She was a student of or disciple of Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan, and for years I listened to her, and every time I listen to her, I feel I don't care about understanding her words, but I feel something. I feel her intention. I feel the vibration of what she's talking about. And I think this is what is very important for me, is when the audience get the intention or the emotion or the vibration of your music and your singing.
Yeah. You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of your Tiny Desk concert.
Yeah.
I remember when that came out, I had friends, they have nothing to do with the Arab world, sending me that YouTube link. Friends from all over the US saying, wow, this is so amazing. I didn't know this person. Oh, he is Lebanese and you're Lebanese. I'm sure you'll love this. But I was amazed at how many people that resonated with. Just like, they don't speak Arabic, they don't know anything about the Arab world, they don't, nobody on their Spotify or whatever is connected, but it really meant something to people.
Well, I think, it's music is really universal. Like, you can connect to it in a very organic way. It's like a space. And, for example, when, like, in this period where I have some, it's great, but, it's stressful. I have to work on the, on the live performance. I have, so many things. I had so much promo to do, etc. And I realized that in these phases, I cannot listen to music. Like, I don't have the space in me. And really, music is like, for you to be able to enjoy music, you need to have an opening, like an oxygen, a space inside of you. And this already is something quite amazing. It's quite magical. So yeah, music is is a universal way of communicating emotionally and poetically, also energetically, for sure.
Yeah. How did that performance come about? Because this was sort of during your hiatus.
Oh no, it was in 2014 or 15. It was really in the.
Oh,
it
wow.
was right after, yeah, it was right after the Jim Jarmusch film. And it was when I released my album Yanas. And I remember it was funny because so Elia was, I think, teaching a course in Colombia, and I went, and stayed there for a while. And I had some promo in the US, and I remember, I don't know who put me in touch with Gabriel, with the guitarist, but I had sent him like some of the songs, and we had never met. And we met either in the train or at the train station, and we rehearsed in the parking lot or in the garden in front of
Wow.
the train station. And then we went and we did the NPR thing. It was really, really rock and roll. I used to, I'm not that adventurous anymore. I mean, it's kind of heavy to do it, but I used to just say, oh, let's do it this way. And just because I like accidents and coincidence, I like to not to be in my comfort zone. But yeah, that was really risky, but he was great. I mean, we had never met before. We had never played together. And then he comes and he does this NPR thing with me. Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's a bit weird. I don't do it again.
How do you approach performances like this one, like the one that you're doing at the Tamaas Festival in Abu Dhabi? Like, that's one way, that's one extreme. How are you doing it now?
I mean, now we have we just finished rehearsals, and we had like a residency with light and sound, and so we're gonna do a show. And I'm really happy to be able also to perform to the diaspora, because you have a lot of Lebanese, Syrian, Palestinian, Jordanian, etc. in these cities, and it's great because until now I did only 2 shows. The first show was in Hamburg in a festival in Ripperban, and we did a show last week after the residency in Besançon, which was a very cute city, French city. But yeah, it's nice to be also performing in front of an audience who speaks Arabic in majority, maybe, or big amount of the people of the audience will probably understand what I'm talking about. Will maybe probably also be able to identify to some of the, I wouldn't say the subjects, but we are in a way, this album for me is kind of talking about this diaspora experience, and we are many outside experiencing it, and from all these different countries in the Middle East. So yeah, it's exciting.
I'm curious about at the beginning of my first question about like when you took a break and why you took a break. Was there a specific moment that got you to say, I feel like working on an album again?
Yeah. I mean, I took a break because I think I had a burnout. I think, because I tend to be a workaholic, and because I'm hyperactive, and I'm like my brain is always like blah, 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 blah. And it was, and I also was starting to feel the shift in music. Like when I started doing music with Soul Kills, I was totally against representation. And I always would find a way to, in the covers, for example, the Shifta cover. I had the first idea. It came, I had in mind something I wanted to. Do you know these books called SAS? It's really very bad literature. Like kind of erotic literature that that was around in the house. I'm not going to enter more details. All the covers of these like kind of like very cheap books, there's this guy called Marco, always saving the world, and he has all these affairs with all these women, and you have all these covers of women, really posing funny. So I wanted to do kind of mimic this in with of course with humor. So we did the picture, and then I said, no, I'm not going to appear on the cover. And then I said, wow, why don't we? Back then, it was not at all very common, but I had a friend who had all these affiche posters, cinema posters, Egyptian cinema posters of 60s, 70s, etc., of all these women, and etc. So I said, why don't let's find a way to do like a cover, like a poster, like a Egyptian cinema poster. And then we called people like friends of ours, like Hatem, and other, and we had Soul Kills, and the other cover, same thing. We went and I took a picture, and they took a picture, and it became the cover. I came from that school, and slowly I started accepting the fact that, okay, maybe I need to appear because it's important to put a face on the voice. But then it became too much. Like there's a saturation, honestly. So I started feeling it, and I was like, I need a break from all of this. I need a break from all of this. I need a break from the music industry. I need a break from myself. I need to do other things. I need to connect to people differently. My relationship with people need to be a little bit more, outside of who I am. As a public whatever figure or musician, I need to reconnect differently to things and people. And that's one of the reasons. I also didn't know what I wanted to say, and I didn't want to do an album before feeling the necessity. So the necessity came really when I was in Sicily. I think this is when I remember I started working on more solid demos, and this is when I started imagining, okay, what do I want exactly? And trying to, in a very open and flexible and abstract way, try to find, find my way. And this is when it started, I would say.
Yeah, it's interesting. Do you feel when you start doing that, that's an opportunity for you to like find yourself again, or to like escape yourself, like the writing process?
No, you find yourself again. because I was really lost. And so that was really, it kind of, honestly, it was so amazing to find my center again, because I had lost it, with everything that happened. I felt that I was kind of separated from a strength I had. And I think this is something that is that happens to a lot of us, because we've been witnessing and living so many shocks and so many like ruptures, and it's been quite difficult, personally, on a personal level, on a more collective level, etc. And it depends how sensitive you want to be, or you are, and how much protection you have or you don't. um, Back then, at that moment, I kind of really was had an accumulation. I was in the middle of a crisis, like multiple crisis situation, personal, also having to do with the work I did, with my career, with I don't know, with my country, with the world. You sometimes you feel alienated, and these feelings, you're not always able to transform them. So you have to give yourself the right time and tempo and space, so that you are able to accept them and transform them, and what happens often when you are working on a record is that also the fact that people come in this space that you've created, and they fill it with their own intuition, their own talent, their own references, their own understanding of what they are hearing or what they think they can give. All of this helps a lot. I mean, it's really a collective thing, I would say.
Yeah. Last question I want to ask you is sort of about the scene. Halla, you were talking about it in the 90s, sort of those soap kills era. It was sort of organic, and you and Zaid and Hatem and all these different people who are all contributing to it.
Hatem Imam, by the way.
Hatem Imam, yeah, of course, from Studio Safar. You're all these different people. I'm curious, who else was in that scene then, and do you feel like you are part of a scene now?
Well, who else? You had Wadia Safietin, you had Karine Wehbe, you had Sandra Dager, you had, of course, Rabia Mroui, Walid Sadiq, you had, I don't remember now, I'm sure I forgot many people. But yeah, these people played really a big role in everything that happened with Soap Kills. Am I in a scene now? No, I don't think so. I've even before. I mean, I never was in any. I don't know if I was in any scene or in any group or in any. I don't have. I don't have this. I don't have like a clique around me. It's not something I'm used to. I don't know. I kind of tend to be very solitary, but I have a lot of people I know and a lot of friends, and so it's kind of like punctual. We meet punctually, but I don't know if I'm in what you're talking about. No, I'm not. I don't think so. I'm also always. I always felt that I'm always in the middle of. I'm not here. I'm not there. I live in Paris, but not really. I always feel that I'm in two places, I don't know. I probably always want to be in the marge. I like this. I like this is comfortable for me. I like to be in the marge. I like to be a little bit. So sometimes I can go to the center, but then leave it and just go and hide.
The center is, if you are somebody who like picks up on energy, the center is intense because there's a lot of people who are,
Yeah, it can be noisy, and also I need a lot of solitude. I need to be alone a lot of time. I need to process things all the time. I need to, it's I don't know. It's just I need to be at peace, and sometimes when you're in the center, it's super exciting, and I love it, and it's important for me to have both. But I like to remember and to forget. No, I mean, I like I'm just joking. I like to have both sides and to be able to just be visiting. I like to be inside, outside always.
Okay, cool. Last really quick question. If you were to invite to dinner like 4 people who you would love to sort of collaborate with, dead or alive, you're just like, these are people who I just want to soak in their energy. Who would make it to that dinner?
I don't know. I'm sorry, I cannot tell you now because I'm now in this phase where I don't know. I don't know.
Would it be mostly musicians, or would it be like film people or writers or family?
I mean, writers, maybe musicians, probably. I mean, it wouldn't be like it would be. My dream is to have some, for example, at some point, my dream was I had a dream was to learn Indian or Pakistani music, because there's something that is interesting with the transmission and the experience and the discipline, and there's something spiritual about it. But I never did it. I was too afraid to go to Pakistan. Even though I met some people who would have helped. So I don't know really. I don't know. I think it would my dream now is to be somewhere on the sea, with nature and birds, and maybe be reading and doing something really not so a bit banal, but calm and peaceful. Or I don't know. I'm not sure. But for sure, this record, what was really interesting for me is that I wanted to kind of open a little bit and collaborate around music, and the fact that I was able to write and collaborate on with directing some of my video clips was really fun, and this is something that I would like to pursue in a way or another. What would be nice is to be able to try different uh, different artistic languages.
Yeah. Do you have a song that you're most excited to perform live right now? That you're like really excited about the arrangement, or you're excited about the energy?
All of them have something for me special. I love Shmali. I love Hon. I love The Beautiful Losers. I love Beirut. I have a new Beirut version that I feel is much more connected to the vibe. It's not as cute as it was. No, I مرة تجني also. I love singing it. Vows. I don't know. Many songs. It's a pleasure to be on stage with the musicians. And I'm also super happy because we have collaborated for the scenography with my Palestinian friends, Elias and Yousef Anastas from Radio Alhara and Wonder
Yeah.
Cabinet. So they've done an
Amazing.
amazing. Yeah, they did an amazing scenography.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's exciting. Yeah.
Amazing. Yasmine, thanks so much. If anyone is interested in grabbing tickets, you should. The show is on Thursday, January 29th in Abu Dhabi. It's a double header. So there's two really powerful shows, one at Al-Asr and Yasmine on the back-to-back. Yasmine, thanks so much.
Thank you.